G'day guys, this is Richard from Drop Bear Moto, Indian Scout Day today. This is day 2 of having our brand new Scout 101. And of course, first thing that's got to happen is that has to go. Lots of controversy around the rear muffler. Look, it does not give good sound at all. I'm going to do a sound comparison at the end when we get the new one on. But it does not sound good at all, and looks pretty big and bulky hanging out the back there. So out with the old and in with the new. I got the S&S Slip-on that we're going to put on. So this video, I'm not going to do a full install, but kind of probably just share with you hints and tips from the install. It's pretty self-explanatory, hopefully doing slip-ons. Done quite a few before, so I think most of you have, so you don't need to bore you with that, but we'll go through the install and then we'll do a sound comparison and see what they sound like. So here's a sneaky peek of the end. I'm just going to say now that I am not a mechanic, warning. I had the S&S online instructions, which I would certainly refer to in case any updates are made, but some of the sizings were wrong even in those of the bolts I was given. And there's no instructions to actually remove the exhaust, and I couldn't find any, so I went with what I know. I'm sure there's an easier way of doing this job, and I would encourage others to put comments in here and post other reviews. There's probably a lot easier way to do this. A couple of words of warning. I've probably put 5 or 6 slip-ons on various bikes over the years. This was the trickiest. Couple of key things that I just wanted to highlight at the start. I could not get the clip that held the heat shield on back here off, so I left the heat shield on. I thought I'd actually damaged it a little bit. You'll see that in the video, but it actually wasn't too bad once the heat shield fully went on, but there is a little nick there that I'll tidy up. So heat shield stayed on, you'll see through, because I couldn't remove that back clamp. But what I would say is there's some really awkward pieces at the back here, removing the heavy OEM bracket. I had to cut this bolt short, you'll see, because otherwise I'd had to remove the full exhaust, I believe, to get it off, and I was a little bit lazy, but I think it came up with a tidier look at the end. But to get to these bolts in here, there were a couple of little tools and adds that we needed that I'll talk you through now as we get ready for the tools. So as I mentioned, bush mechanic, always start with the right safety attire. So I got my steel cap boots on for this job. Let's run through though what I did end up using on the job. First of all, 4mm hex key. So the 4mm that tightened up the bolts under the back of the back of the bracket here where they fix. You need a 5mm for the heat shields and to tighten up the gasket. The clamp underneath the where the slip-on attaches to the main header. Nice blue and knot. This is I paid full retail for this product. No endorsements here, so you're seeing what I did, what I got. 8mm hex key. I will say with this, you need a shorter one. I got by with this in the end. Just that's a standard. I think this is, just on maybe an inch or something like that. You really need a short one here. If you can cut one shy or get a stubby or reduced reach hex head, it's going to help. This did the job. That's what you'll see 90% of them are. Should measure it. It was just a little bit shorter, but it was very awkward. So definitely, stubby or shortened hex head. 8mm is what you need there. 15mm socket and a 10mm is what you'll need. You will need a torque wrench to adjust the torques at the end. You'll need a wrench as you go through, obviously. And then there was one large bolt, which again was that piece here to remove. I did not have a socket big enough for that one, so I just used the good old trusty adjustable. So that's all the tools that I would get ready to start this job. We're all set to rip this big ugly muffler off. I think This might come in handy defending the home, launching cannonballs to approaching attackers is probably what we'll repurpose it for, because that's probably what it was originally designed for. But anyway, it's got to go, and let's get this one unboxed. Okay, so get this one open. Let's see what we have. Okay, nicely packed in here, and there we go. New muffler, you can see straight away that it's going to be a lot shorter than the other one and thinner, so it's be interesting. Put that down here for a second. Looks like we've got some new hardware. So we've got some S&S stickers in here too. Oh, a new bracket. And that looks like about it. So let's have a crack at this one. Okay, so we've got our parts ready to go. As you can see, the hardware package, a new bracket, and there's a new muffler, and we can definitely see straight away the difference in size between the two. So getting excited now. So to remove the heat shield, we're going to take these two bolts out here with a 5mm hex head. So pay attention to the bolt 2 that's underneath the bottom here of the clamp. Can't get that to focus right now. Another 5mm as well. So to loosen the muffler, we're going to remove these two bolts under here with a 10mm socket. So with these two bolts removed from the back of the muffler bracket, we can just then slide the muffler out. So this is the clamp and the gasket that you need to retain, so hang on to these. So we're going to remove this top bolt first to remove the bracket. I don't have a socket that big, so I'm going to go with the old adjustable. At this point we have given up trying to remove the heat shield because there's a clamp in here we just can't seem to get off. But what we do have to do is remove, there's a clamp inside, a hex head bolt inside of here that we'll have to remove. And then there's one down the bottom too. I'll get a picture of it in a second. And this is the tricky bolt that is a nightmare to get out, this one just up in here, and why you need the short reach or stubby key to get to, shorter than normal. So we'll have a crack at getting this one out now. Last bolt to go on removing the OEM bracket. So as you remove this last bolt from here, as I say, this one's the tricky bit. They should just have a regular nut on here, so we could have got it with a spanner, would have been a lot easier. There we go. So a challenge we do have here is that you can't remove this clamp out from underneath against the existing exhaust with the headers in place. It's not the heat shield. We've been using a rag to protect the heat shield all the way through. It's actually the exhaust, so and it looks like the only way to take that off is actually taking it off at the headers. So probably a couple of options here. I mean, you could take the full exhaust off. Because we don't need this bolt, we could actually just grind off the end of this bolt here, because a black cap fits on. When the job's done, we don't actually use this piece anymore in the new install. So that's probably the option I'm going to go with, is just to cut the end of this bolt off. Okay, so that did work. As you can see, I've cut the end of that bolt, just shortened it a bit. Just a black cap goes on there, we don't use that again. So I've managed to remove the bracket now that holds the OEM exhaust up. So I just tried to actually weigh the difference here, but you can clearly see the size of that original bracket, all the bolts that were in there, and obviously the muffler compared to the S&S and this small bracket here. I'll try and flash up on the screen here what the weight saving is. I'm sure it's on the website, but I did try and set the scales up to no avail. I couldn't measure them on those ones, what the difference is, but it's going to be substantial. Okay, so next we've got to fit the new bracket in. Looks like this bracket just snicks into position on these two bolts here. So as I say, we don't use this head one, or top one here, sorry. We've got two bolts that go through, but there's only one washer in my kit. Following the instructions, looks like it goes on the back washer here. So what I'm going to do is thread that through now. Get that situated. Okay. And I get this back washer, or front washer, sorry, situated in here. So it looks like these are a 16mm head bolt, so I just tightened them down then, just on firmly for now. We do have to apply torque to those later, so that bracket's now on. So the gasket you removed earlier, you need to put onto the muffler head just like that, about halfway down, I think they said. And then we want to get that existing clamp, and we're going to slide that onto the end of the tube here, which I'll need 2 hands for, but back in situ where it was before. So now we've got the gasket in, the clamp in situation and the gasket. Effectively what we're trying to do now is obviously align these bottom holes up with the holes under there and slide the tube in. So I'm just gonna go do that and come back to you. So what we're gonna do now is slide this dog bone underneath inside the bracket here, it looks like, and then we're gonna just run the 2 bolts that come with it up through and secure them into the dog bone on top to secure the muffler. So I'll jump onto that now and take my hand back from the camera. Okay, we're in the home stretch now, so we've got to torque everything together. We've got to torque these ones to the 2 bolts that attach the bracket down here to 25 pounds of torque. And the ones under the bottom of the muffler bracket here to 15, holding the oops, get the camera under there, holding these ones to 15 pound-foot of torque. So grab your torque wrench and have a crack. The gasket, I couldn't find this today, what the actual clamp on the exhaust goes to, so I'm gonna have to ring the dealer on Monday, just confirm that setting. Maybe I or someone will put that in the comments on this video if I post it before I get that exact setting. And then the final thing, I'm going to tidy this up a little bit where I bush mechanicked the end off to get it out. Although I probably don't need to, because this black cap just sits on the end there. Which, to be honest, I'm kind of glad I did kind of clean that one in a little bit, because it looks a little bit tidier the shorter it is. It's kind of a weird bolt to have on there now. But anyway, that black cap just sits on there to tidy it up. We just got to close these heat shields back on with the 5mm hex head. Sorry, again. So we'll get those lined up, put back in. As with all pipes, you want to just wipe everything down fully. No manufacturer warranty, anything. You can see all my finger marks on here. We've got to really clean this off before we start it for the first time, because those marks will seep into the pipe. So we'll get that cleaned off as well. Look, the only thing that kind of went wrong so far here is I took a little bit of paint off not removing this heat shield. So if you do leave it on, maybe wrap something around here as you do it. I'll have to tidy this bit up afterwards. Yeah, so let me do these torque settings, tidy this up, and then we'll come back and start her up. Okay, so we're at the end of the install, job done. We've potentially fixed the biggest flaw on this bike from comments we've had on our videos, and I think a lot of the other comments I've seen, which is obviously this muffler. I decided to go S&S. A couple of reasons. One, look, it's one of the brands I do go. I've got an S&S on my FTR, absolutely love it. I've done a video on that one if you're ever keen to check that out, or if you've got an FTR. And you can see a picture of that bike here. Really, made that bike, I think, into a flat tracker from the sound and from the look of the high pipe on that bike. So definitely, S&S was a brand I was looking at. To be really candid though, it's the only pipe on the market with just a slip-on that we got. Mrs. Drop Bear Moto just wanted to go a slip-on to start on this bike. I believe it's got a removable baffle. I double checked that, I'm pretty sure it has. We've left it in for now. So look, I think, from looks straight away, it really has changed the dynamic of the bike. A lot thinner. We had the two earlier in the video sitting next to each other. You can see that it's a heck of a lot shorter, but it's also a lot thinner, right? It's about as thin as the heat shield, as the heat shield finishes, and comes in a lot tighter on the wheel. Let me grab the other one, put it up to it so you can just have a look and see the comparison. So as I brought that over, reminded me again the weight saving. This is a bad heavy slip-on. It just completely kills all engine noise. I did look up, it is 40% lighter, as I say. Unfortunately my scales wouldn't do that comparison for me, so I'm sure someone else will get that at some point. The old bathroom scales didn't shape up. But you can see the difference between the two, width-wise here and length-wise. I think it just completely changes the bike, and that's fixed it in my opinion. The single mufflers are all the trend lately with the king of the baggers, and a lot of racing bikes looking like that. So I think we fixed it. What we'll do now, we'll start her up for the first time live on camera. So if it all explodes, I'll probably go viral, but we'll see. You'll see with me. Then what we'll do, we'll take it outside and do a comparison in the wild. I filmed some footage yesterday of that stock muffler, so we'll run the two back to back. So stay tuned for the sound of the both. Okay, camera back to normal. Wow, that's phenomenal. I'm really impressed. Look, this has been a phenomenal move to put this on. I think you'll agree. Sound and the looks of this thing has just totally changed it and fixed this bike. Okay, so time for the exhaust comparison. I filmed this obviously before we took the pipes off that I'm about to show you now. Be warned, if you think you just left your hairdryer on, you might find that it's just a standard factory pipe. So have a listen to this clip. So there you have it. As you can see, it is brand new. You can still see the smoke burning off there. So we'll see how that tunes in. It does have the decibel reducer in the pipe as well, so I haven't removed that yet, but what a difference, right? Amazing. So I look, thoroughly recommend this pipe. Tricky install process, so hopefully I pointed out the cons of that as we went through the video. And maybe that'll improve as this pipe gets a little bit more mature and they find better ways to do it. I think Indian hid some bolts there behind the factory exhaust, so just didn't need to. But anyway, tricky process. Awesome friggin' pipe though. Totally changed the dynamic of the bike. Fixed the biggest problem in my opinion that the bike had. And the sounds, that typical S&S sound, you hear the crackle and pop, it sounds really similar to the pipe on my FTR, which you gotta love that noise. So hands down, awesome. Glad we did it, and I'm gonna go tear it up out there. So hope you enjoyed the video. Ride safe.